Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to Drums and Drams. My name is Cameron, and this is another episode of Quick Sips. Today we're going to be taking a look at this bottle of Bulleit Blenders Select Batch 1, which was released basically a year ago at this point, sometime in early 2020. Now, some reviews came out on WhiskeyTube at that time. I think, I've seen Jason from the Mash and Drum, I've seen the Bourbon Junkies cover it. Different people covered it throughout 2020, and those reviews were pretty lukewarm. There was a mixed bag of things, but nobody ever came out and said, hey, this is really a killer bourbon. For that reason, I passed up on this when I saw it on the shelf. Also, I had a batch of the Bulleit Barrel Proof. I think it was batch 5, and I wasn't super crazy about it. So I thought, well, I'm not gonna pay basically the same price for a 100 proof Bulleit. So I'm gonna walk away from this. But at the end of 2020, this bourbon started finding its way onto some different lists of best values or best bourbons of 2020. And look, a lot of those lists are not reliable at all. They come from these magazines, and these writers just, I feel like they don't know how to taste bourbon, I guess, because some of their picks are so strange. But I saw it in enough places and enough chatter about it online that I decided, let me go ahead and snag one of these. I didn't have to overpay for it, thankfully. It was at cost locally here in Columbus, and I wanted to give it a fair shake. So I cracked it open on a live stream the other night, and I was pretty impressed. So I wanted to make a short video here and see, what I think about it. The last thing I'll say is that it is rumored that Bulleit is sourcing from Four Roses. It's a pretty accurate assumption, I would say. They're talking about here on their website that they've mingled 3 of their 10 distillates. Obviously, that's a Four Roses thing. This was something that their blender, Ebony Major, was able to do to craft this Blender Select. And so I would assume that we should be expecting maybe a yearly release of this. And so maybe batch 2 is on the way. Who knows? But let's get into it. Let's check out this whiskey, the Bulleit Blenders Select Batch 1 at 100 proof. Really sweet nose here. Very inviting, pleasant. I like this. Yeah, in terms of that sweetness, you get a lot of nice cane sugar notes, some vanilla icing on the top. But I think what's taking the cake here is just the fruitiness. There is so much fruitiness going on in this glass. And I've got to say, like on the nose already, for a 100 proof whiskey, the balance here is totally on point. There is absolutely no alcohol jumping out of the glass, but it's all flavor, and it's dense, it's sweet, it's dense, it's rich, and it's jumping out of the glass without any extra ethanol hitting your nose. This is great already. Yeah, so I would say in terms of the fruit here, we've got some nice like cherry notes. There's a good amount of orange in here, but there's also some lighter components like that peach or apricot type thing, and maybe even some apple. Yeah, it's just like a fruit bowl of just awesome summery type fruits. There's also a little bit of oak going on here on the lower end of the flavor spectrum, like a nice supporting oak characteristic, a little bit funky, but nothing off-putting. Yeah, just exceptionally balanced and exceptionally sweet on the nose. When I'm talking about this sweetness though, I just recorded a little bit ago my video of the Old Forester Barrel Strength Quick Sips, and all the Old Forester stuff is very, very sweet and bright. This fruitiness and this sweetness is not that candied type thing. This is more balanced, more middle of the road, and more of what I like when I think about a sweeter bourbon. All right, let's check it out on the palate. Cheers. Oh my gosh. Yeah, the oak actually comes through more on the palate here. Actually, like right away, I was getting that oak. There's a little bit of grassiness there that just popped up. Never gotten that before on this. But it was just a flash, not offensive. Oh, wow, but all of that fruitiness is in here. There's a lot of cinnamon as well. You can definitely tell it's a Four Roses product, right? You can taste those light fruit components that you get from some of those recipes. You can taste that high rye, that cinnamon quality. The age here is great. They say that All of the distillates used in here, 3 of the 10 distillates, you know, that they're blending together are at least 9 years old. I mean, that's freaking awesome. And at 100 proof, it's an amazingly drinkable bourbon. It's not too knock your socks off or melt your face that you have to go slowly on this. Like, this is a contender for a daily sipper in my book. All right, last sip. Oh, wow. The cinnamon is appearing a little bit more, but the sweetness is still there. Amazing. Yeah, I've got to say, I have counted Bulleit out for a long time. The barrel proof wasn't outstanding, and maybe I need to revisit that now because, geez, this is awesome. And the standard product is just fine. You know, the rye is really made as a mixer, and so many people use that, which is smart with you know, the Four Roses thing going on in there. But I've got to say, I am blown away by this Blenders Select. Now, the last thing on this video that I wanted to do very quickly, hiding back here, is the Four Roses Small Batch Select. This is something I've never been a big fan of. It's a blend of 6 of the 10 Four Roses recipes, non-chill filtered and bottled at 104 proof, so just slightly higher ABV than this Bulleit Blenders Select. I do have a pour of it right here. And I know these are quick sips, but geez, I've been doing more comparisons than single quick sips, but who cares? I wanted to make this comparison very quickly. So let's see how 6 of the recipes at a slightly higher ABV does compared to this Bulleit Blenders Select. Yeah, not nearly as sweet or fruity on the nose here. It's more caramel driven, down the middle bourbon profile, slightly spicier. The fruity note that comes through on this one is mostly cherry. There's not any of that orange, maybe a little bit, but those lighter fruits are not as present here as they are in the Bulleit. All right, on the palate. I mean, it's spicy, it's caramely, it's fine, it's pretty down the middle. Let's go back to the Bulleit. Oh yeah, night and day. The Bulleit absolutely just mops the floor with this stuff. Oh my God, the Bulleit is so sweet, and it's got a really solid oak funk on the bottom end of this. The age is apparent. Oh yeah. It might be just a smidge watery. I also just compared it to a higher proof and a non-chill filtered product. Don't know if the Bulleit is non-chill filtered. I would assume it's probably chill filtered. It came off a little watery that time, but the flavor profile is so much better. And honestly, for me, this might turn into a daily sipper. I've never been huge on Four Roses. I love the single barrel's great. I haven't had any of the single barrel strength picks, so I can't speak to that. But, you know, when it comes to the core lineup, like, I've never really liked the small batch select. Single barrel's been fine. This Bulleit is outstanding. So for what it's worth, maybe I'm crazy. The other reviews have been lukewarm. Hey, I'm here for this. I'm going to have to snag another one of these. And I think when batch 2 comes out, which I'm expecting is going to happen, right? I think we're going to have more of these. I'm going to snag a couple of those because this is awesome. So I think that's all I've got for this video. Thank you for tuning in. If you haven't already, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification to find out when new things come out and when I'm going live, which as of the time I'm recording this video, that's every Thursday night. Drop me a line, comment in the comment section below, or an email, drumsanddrams@gmail.com, if you have any feedback or anything you'd like me to review or take a look at. But I think that's all I've got. I'm going to sign off now. Thank you so much, and cheers from Drums and Drams.